What's up everyone? In this video we're going to discuss using attribute selectors in Tailwind CSS. Before we get started though, make sure you're subscribed to my channel and getting notifications so you never miss when I release a video about Tailwind, Payload CMS, Next.js, and more. If you'd like to see the code that I use in this video, there's a link to the repo in the description. Now, let's dive in. CSS attribute selectors allow you to style HTML elements based on attributes within that element. In plain CSS, this can include things like a link's href or its contents and even matching parts of a class name of an element. In Tailwind CSS, you can style elements by targeting their ARIA, Inert, or open-closed state, as well as the data attributes and elements that support right-to-left text. You can use the ARIA variant to target elements that have a given ARIA attribute. For example, if you have a checkbox that dynamically changes whether ARIA checked is true or false, you can change the styles accordingly. We don't have a checkbox, but we can put ARIA checked in our list div here, and we're going to set it equal to true. And then in our list of class names here, we can add ARIA checked, and then we'll do our BG of purple 400. And if I save this, we can see that we get a new background color of purple here. And if I set ARIA checked to false, that background color goes away. This is a helpful accessibility tool as well, as ARIA, when used well, makes the web more accessible to those who need screen readers and other tools. So having the ability to style based on these attributes allows you to cover your bases with accessibility while still creating a rich user experience for everyone. Similar to ARIA attributes, you can use custom data attributes and the data variant to target specific conditions on HTML elements. Data attributes allow for HTML elements to be extended without the need for hacked solutions like non-standard attributes. You can use data attributes to add extra information like columns, parent elements, and more. And you can use this to style or target in other ways. For example, let's say we want to apply our purple background only when our data list items equals 3. Let's change our ARIA checked to our data list items data attribute here, and we'll then change our ARIA checked variant here to be data then list items, and then we'll set that to be equal to 3. So now we can change our list items to be equal to 3, and we should see that background get reapplied. And now if we want to get rid of it, we can say, oh, there's only 2 list items, and the background will disappear. This comes in handy for things like dark mode that's based on a data attribute on the HTML element instead of a user's browser preferences. You'd be able to style elements based on something like data color scheme, which would then allow you to add a toggle to your site to either enable or disable this. In the case of something like dark mode, you might find yourself repeating the same data attribute as you style. To prevent that, you can go into your globals.css file, and in it, you can add a custom variant to your globals.css by adding the @ custom variant. Then we can do data dark mode and the ampersand with data UI and then dark mode. Now we can go to our element and include data UI and change our variant from data list items 3 to data dark mode. We also need to change our data list items to be data UI and set that equal to dark mode. Now when we do this, we can see that our background color is still applied. But if we change this to be light mode, it disappears. Your project may need to support text that is read from right to left as opposed to left to right. This is especially true for global sites with localizations across languages and cultures. If you're only building for either right to left or left to right text, you don't need to include the opposite option. Just style for the layout you need for your content. Either way, Tailwind makes it easy to support this right out of the box. You'll need to apply the direction attribute by spelling out dir and setting it equal to the text direction you're trying to target. In my case, my default is left to right, so I'll need to set this equal to RTL for us to see any difference. Then I'll add RTL text white so we can see the text and layout of the list update. We'll also update our data dark mode here to be RTL as well so we can see the white text. And now we can see that The text is still read from left to right, but now the markers for the list are on the right as if it were a right to left text. You can also style things like detail summary boxes and dialogues with the open or closed attributes. To show this off, we'll need to create a new element. In our main div, above the div that's holding our list, we'll create a new div, which is going to have the class name of width 75, margin auto, and a margin top and bottom of 2. And in it, we'll have a details box, which will have a class name of P4, border transparent, rounded 2XL. And in the details box, we'll have a summary element, which will have the class names text small, font semi-bold, text gray 900, select none, and we'll add in our summary here that this is a summary box. And underneath our summary, we'll have another div that will have a class name that will be equal to margin top of 3, text small, text gray 600, with a paragraph tag inside of it that just says it can open and close and change styles accordingly. And now I can save this and we'll see that our dialog box pops up here with this is a summary box. And when I hit open, one thing we missed here in our details is the open attribute. So when I set open there, so now that when I refresh, I have the open attribute here, it defaults to open. But this doesn't look anything different from what we have styled between the open and the closed. Now let's change that by adding to our details element here an open attribute of border emerald 950 with an opacity of 10, and then open again with BG emerald 100. And if I save this, we can see that the open box has this background and border, but if we close it, that goes away. So it'll only show up when open is true. You can also style elements that are meant to be inert or inactive. For example, let's create a new input field underneath our details box. It'll have the class name of MX Auto to center it on our page, and we'll give it a border with the color of border emerald 950. And we'll style the placeholder to have the same color, so text emerald 950 with a little bit of space with a padding of 2 with the placeholder variant in front of it. We'll then round our edges with rounded large, give it a placeholder of email, and make it type of email. Now when I save this, we can see that our email field is here and we're able to type into it like we would with any other input field. Now if we add the inert attribute, we can see right away that we're no longer able to interact with our input field, but there's no indication of that. So let's give the user some kind of indication. Let's add a muted background color to our input, something like inert BG emerald 200 with an opacity of 30. And then for inert, we'll style the placeholder to be text emerald 950 with an opacity of 30. And so now it looks a little bit more like a disabled field than it did before. And that's it for all of our attribute selectors. You can use these attributes to conditionally style certain elements and fields based on the data in their attributes, offering flexibility and an easy way to style elements with custom attributes. If you found this video helpful, please like it and share it with others who might also find it useful. Check to make sure you're subscribed to my channel and receiving notifications so you never miss when I release more content around Tailwind CSS, Payload CMS, Next.js, and more. If you have suggestions or questions, please leave those in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until then, I'll see you on the next one.